Welcome to Catholic Views. I'm your host, Renee Kranz. On today's show, we are going to talk to Deacon Thane Barnier and his wife, Joanne. We're going to talk about life as a deacon, life as a deacon's wife, how he got the call. It should be an interesting conversation. They're a really cool couple. First, we're going to talk to Dr. Chris Bergwald with the Little Biblical Bites with Dr. B.
Deacon Thane got the call on his phone. That's how most people get calls today. I don't know about you.
It's possible because it wasn't that long ago. So it's possible it was a phone. He's not that old.
Exactly. So we are coming down to the end of the liturgical year.
Oh, yeah. Just a few weeks,
Just
right?
a few weeks, yeah. So Advent starts the Sunday right after Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
So Saturday after Thanksgiving is the last day of the church year.
Okay.
So just a couple weeks away.
Mm-hmm.
So what you'll see, especially in the gospel, not just the gospels, but especially in the gospels, the readings start to become eschatological in tone.
I'm glad you said that word.
Eschatological. Do you have any idea what eschatological means, Renee?
Does it have to do with last things, like end of
exactly.
time things?
Yep. End of time things. So especially about being vigilant and being ready, being prepared, being alert and awake, things like that. So This Sunday, the reading, Sunday's gospel reading, Matthew 25, verse 1 through 13, it's about, I'll just start the reading and then you'll remember maybe the story. Jesus told his disciples this parable. The kingdom of heaven will be like 10 virgins who took their lamps and went out to meet the bridegroom. 5 of them were foolish and 5 were wise. The foolish ones, when taking their lamps, brought no oil with them, but the wise brought flasks of oil with their lamps. Since the bridegroom was long delayed, they all became drowsy and fell asleep. At midnight there was a cry, "Behold, the bridegroom, come out to meet him." And then it goes on from there. And the ones who... the foolish ones who didn't bring any extra oil, like, "Give us some of yours," and no, and they go and they get locked out.
Mm-hmm.
So when you were married,
Yeah.
long ago,
Hey, it wasn't just 5 years or anything. It's been plenty of
was
time.
there a procession where Ryan came and there were 10 virgins who came to meet him? And
Well, at least
Ironically,
not
I think there was at mine.
Bill. We did not know this.
so
Just going to go blow right past that.
any idea? Yeah, we're not. I'm leaving that alone. Any idea what's going on?
Bill threw me off so much, like I can't.
So that's I'll throw you a lifeline here.
Okay.
The practice, so Jewish marriage or wedding ceremony at Jesus' time. A couple would get married, and oftentimes, you've probably heard this about Mary, you could be 13, 14 when you become betrothed. So betrothed is kind of like engagement, but it's stronger than that. But during the betrothal period, which could be a year long, it was common for the bride to continue to live with her parents. So the betrothed, which is more than engagement, it could certainly happen. It wasn't rare that the bride would become pregnant, for instance, even though it's sort of like 2 stages of the marriage more than engagement and then wedding, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So they get betrothed. She oftentimes will stay living with mom and dad, but then the day of the actual wedding, there's going to be a big banquet. Usually at the home of the groom's dad or his family.
Okay.
So it'd be so if, let's just use you and Ryan. So you become betrothed, but you stay living with mom and dad. And the day of the wedding, Ryan would come to meet you, to get you in procession and take you in procession from your parents' house back to his dad's house to have the great wedding banquet.
Okay.
Right. So that at the end of the story here, we read about how they're going to a wedding banquet, and it was common. So Ryan's coming to meet, and it was common that people would. As he fetches you and returns to his parents' house for the banquet, that people would come out and cheer, almost like a parade.
Okay.
Cheer and applaud and wave.
Throw
oh,
candy.
look at the yeah.
They throw rice.
Right, who knows? The records don't indicate one or the other, so probably not. But as part of that, there would be oftentimes virgins who would lead the procession with lighted lamps, and these were usually torches, not like
not like a lantern.
not like a lantern, because it says they trim or whatever, so we might think of a lantern or like a genie's lamp, that kind of, not like that, more like a torch, and it might burn down. They'd have to trim off some of the burnt fabric and soak it in oil, that sort of thing. So that's what's going on here. We've got a little bit of time left, but I wanted to sort of explain why what's with these 10 virgins and lamps and so on. Normally so in this case it's midnight when he's coming. Normally the bridegroom isn't delayed. But what the point for us here is that we need, I said this at the beginning, we need to remain vigilant. So what is the oil that with the 10 virgins, what does that mean for us? It means for us to persevere in good works.
Oh, okay.
Right? So we can be excited about our faith, and we're loving God and our neighbor, works of mercy, corporal works of mercy, spiritual works of mercy, praying and so on. But we have to make sure that we've got plenty of oil. We have to make sure that we are persevering in those good works. Okay, so in Mark's,
build them up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So in Matthew's gospel, there's a lot about the kingdom of heaven and the importance of persevering in good works. That's what the oil represents here, to continue to persevere in doing the good works that will build up the kingdom of God.
Awesome. Thanks, Dr. B.
You bet.